So can you all see and hear, because I'm about to move on now. And if you remember, if you don't, there's a video for this, right? Did I finally send that video? Okay, I don't think I sent the one we did in the class, but I think I recorded, but I didn't eventually send. But there's a video that we lesson video that actually does a proper breakdown on how to get to this particular place, and I've gone ahead to save us time to import it into After Effects. And yes, one good practice is to, after I finished, right, I had to do a Control Shift S, that's rename, like save another copy called search. Like here the idea is search engine, right? Search engine to After Effects. So many times it's usually a good practice to duplicate this also. And many times all of this, right, all this I have now, I would have created a folder called AI rather, as Adobe Illustrator. So put all of this here, right? Then create another folder, call this underscore main. So I can now duplicate this particular one, bring it into this main folder, close this. I will have this as an art. You know what? Let's just let's just rename it. How do I? Once I'm here, I hit enter. Then search engine, then name it art. So that will be our art. Then we can just come here and can just have search engine. Then I can close this one. So I'm in the search engine comp. I'm in the search engine comp, because automatically once you bring it from Illustrator into from Illustrator into After Effects, it automatically places it into a composition, which we have here already. So with this, though this color, in terms of color combination and all of that, this is off, right? This is not, see our color palette, it's not matching any of the color palettes. But okay, you know what, let me quickly show you one of the ways I go about quickly doing this. Now I make sure, for instance, it's just the leg alone, right? Now you can see there are plenty layers here. If you can see, sometimes for you to identify, maybe you select a layer, for you to start scrolling and be checking which one is selected. The hack to do that, the very fast way to get into what you want to locate the particular layer that you have selected here, is to press P or S, or many times I press P. So once this, okay, let's say I'm up here and I'm up somewhere. Once I press P, you see it locates it. So once I have this selected, I can rename this to leg, right? Then add fill. I come to effects here, look for fill, my effect and preset, type fill. As another word is fill here, it means color. So once I drop that, it changes the color. So I can come here and pick, I don't know, either of these. But I think the green is just too many, so I can collect maybe red. Yeah, I think this dark red works. Then I can copy this effect now. Since I've sampled this color here now, I can copy the effects. I'm on this effects panel. I can copy this from here and drop. Yes. Then it poses one issue. There's a particular shade here happening here. So it means, what this shade means is that if I were to remove this, okay, let's go back. You will see that remember when we were talking about solid drawing in the principles of animation, this is where that thing comes, because without this shade that we have here, where is it? This particular one, this thing will look a little bit flat. So we have this dark version of this. This is pink or yellow. I think this is pink of the trouser here now. So it becomes, so when we are now sampling, when we are changing the color, it means whatever color we give to this trouser, which is red, then this one now will be much more darker. So the way to go about that, I make sure I copy this, I copy the same color. That's, I have this layer selected. You know what, let me rename them instead of all of this. Let me name this to leg 2. Leg 2. Then let me name the shade this is already named the leg. So I can drop it on the shade, but once I drop it, everything just becomes just one color. Well, I need to come here, click on this color icon here. Once I click on it, it brings this option. It brings the color picker option. And remember, on the normally it's meant to bring you on the hue. Well, it's because normally it's meant to bring you on the hue, but right now I just want it darker. I just want to go to the, I want to maintain the same hue, but I want a darker version of it. So to go about that, I come to the brightness setting, and I drag this down to make it a little bit darker. So we have something like this. So with that now we have something like this, and something much more, unison, rather than. So what I did here, I should go ahead and do it here too, so that we have both. For the sake of time, right, which we have like limited time and all of this, I will just concentrate on this person. In fact, for the animation, just concentrate on this person. But before we go on this, let me create a new composition. Remember, to create a new composition, there's something I need to demonstrate. I need to demonstrate to you people the hierarchy system, how the hierarchy system works. How the hierarchy system works. So Control N, hierarchy, is that the spelling? Okay, well, let's say hierarchy, but this is okay. This is like 15 seconds, but rather what I need is just something 2 to 3 seconds is okay. So I want to shorten this composition. This composition is like up to 1 minute or so, 1 minute long. But I just want to concentrate. So how to go about that now? I press N, right, to shorten this N, and I come here, right click on this. Trim come to work area. Trim come to work area once I hit it. So everything now will now happen within this is just within 5 seconds or 4 seconds. So I want to quickly draw some things to demonstrate to us. So let's say this is the upper arm. Let's say this upper arm. So for me to draw down, I want this to be on a layer of its own. So the way, because if I go ahead to draw now, it will merge everything inside one layer, but that's not what I want. So I do Ctrl Z on this. Rather, I will make sure I have, because this shape layer 1 is selected, I'll make sure I deselect by pressing Ctrl Shift A. Ctrl Shift A deselect, or I tap outside, or Ctrl Shift A does that. So I draw another one. Right, I make it a little bit smaller. Then Ctrl Shift A. Then this time around I want to draw an ellipse. So let's say in a very rough, this is like the arm, and I want to use this to teach us. Yeah, and I make sure I bring the anchor point. Now, okay, in the hierarchy system too, there is the need to understand what, you need to understand how anchor point works, or pivot point. For the pivot, let's say this is let's say this technically this is an arm, right? So if this is the hand, right, if this hand wants to move, right, where does it need to be? Where does the anchor point, where does it need to swing? Yes, let's say this is the hand, right? Where does the central point need to be where it's driving? It means that it needs to be somewhere here, and how to, because right now, since I've drawn that the anchor point is like it's in the middle, automatically whenever you draw a V shape, it places the anchor point in the center of your comp. It calculates the comp size. So this is the exact center of my comp. So the way to go about that, I press Y, or I select this. I press Y, or I select this tool here called pen behind tool. Once I have that selected, I can drag this, take it to somewhere here. Yes, once I have it there, the way to test what I've just done, if it's working, I need to press R to bring out rotation property. So once the rotation property, if I have this, I think this is about it. This is like right about, this is good enough. So let's say this is the lower arm, right? Let me put it here. Let's say this is the lower arm. If it needs to swing, where does it need to swing from? It needs to swing from somewhere here. So we need to set the anchor point there too. So that's how for every yes, okay, let's say for instance, let's go back here. Let's say for instance, now if you go through the head, where does the anchor point need to be? Let's say we want to animate this. When we are moving our head, where does from our head, right? Where does it move from? It means it moves from somewhere, our neck, right? Somewhere here. If you just want to move the head alone, move from somewhere here. So we need to keep this here. Then when we go to the neck, where is it? When we go to the neck, why is this not selected? Okay, I'm selecting some other things. Let me lock this. Yes, then when we go to the neck, I think this is the neck, right? I'm hitting P to be sure. Okay, this is the collar. Now, to a large extent, before you start bringing your things into your assets, into After Effects, it's usually best to name your layers. I think it's usually best. It's easier, seeing them in seeing them here. Seeing them here, usually, yes, the feedback is usually very much easier. Seeing them here and naming them, rather than what we are doing here now. But sometimes once you are in a haste, you may just bring it here and do. So you should be able to name this color. Okay. Don't mind me, I'm jumping in between things, right? Why I brought you here, this is what we want to, just play and animate and see how that works, right? However, before I start doing any animation, I need to get you people through fundamentals. So I was talking about hierarchy, I was just talking about how the hierarchy system works, right? So I just told you, but I needed a much more visual reference to how the hierarchy, so that at least this is like a full body, so that you understand, you get a better visual reference of what I'm saying. Let's say for the human body system, how it works is that everything on the head, the whole head, right? The anchor point is somewhere here. Then the neck. Yes. Let me select this. Yes, then the neck. Its anchor point is also down here too. But the head's own was here, but the neck own is somewhere here. So that means we need to drag this here. And a very good way to test it is that once you've done that, okay, let me quickly name this neck. Once you've done that, you just need to press R. R is usually the best way to confirm your rotation. Hit R to bring out your rotation. So if this is working, then this is about it. I just realized it's not the actual neck I selected. I selected the shade, the color shade that gives a sense of depth, right? That's what I have selected, and not the actual neck. So I think still not the actual neck. Okay, this is the actual neck now. So I need to bring this thing here. So then for the torso, right? Okay, let's quickly. Then for the arm, right? This is the arm. Yeah, this is the arm. For the arm, when we swing our arm, where does it swing from? Where is like the central driving force? Where does the central driving force come from? It's usually somewhere here, close to there's this what's it called? Shoulder blade or so. That's a bone where it comes from. Because right now, let's say to test this, if the anchor point is off and you want to move, you want to animate it, and a very good way to test that again is hit your R, bring your rotation. If it's off, you can see if I want to animate this and I'm doing this, because the anchor point is not set properly, you can see it is off. It's not animating properly. So I need to now take it to where it needs to be. So somewhere it doesn't need to be mathematically precise, but it should just be something very, very close. So with that now, once I do this, you can see it's looking realistic in terms of where the movement is coming from. It's looking much more realistic. So in a nutshell, that's what the hierarchy system is about. That's how the hierarchy system works. So I've set the one for the hand. Let's say our idealistic hand. Then this one for the lower arm. Then this for the upper arm. Then I need to take this up here. So with that, let me give all of these different colors. So that Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and give this different color. So the way now this is I've get the process. I've set the anchor points, right? Then the next thing I need to now do is to attach what is called the hierarchy, build what is called parenting. Hierarchy and parenting, they're the same word. So well, let me quickly name all of this. Let me quickly name all of this up. Lower arm and hand. So yes, I've named that. Now so we now need to do the parenting, that's connect other things to another, and how how as I said, right, there is structure in everything. There is the head, there is the parents, there is the child, and there is the grandchild, right? So in this arrangement now, I think this should be the parents, right? Then this should be the child, and this should be the grandchild. So with that, it means this one as a hand needs to parent it, needs to depend on the lower arm. It needs to depend on the lower arm. And how do you go about that? We take this pick whip here. We take this pick whip here, drag it into this one. That's the lower arm. and take the lower arm's pick wheel and drag it to the up arm. So with this now we've built a system, and before now we've set our hierarchy, we've set our anchor point. So once we say R, then this should carry this other element. Alright, this should carry all these other elements. So let's say we want to animate an arm swing, so we go about it this way. Okay, let's say it's at rest somewhere here, then we need to keyframe this. Hit a keyframe, go in time, right, set on that keyframe. So with this, it goes this way. Let's say just the person moves their arm this way. But if you watch here, it's very rigid. In real life, there is what is called overlap and follow through. If you go through that 12 principle of animation, that's what is lacking here. That's why this whole animation is looking very, though simple, right, that I've just done, is looking very much stiff. The way to loosen things up is that we need to a large extent, let's say this is here, right? Why? Remember, this is the grandparent. So when it's moving these other ones, there should be some form of drag. It's taking a little bit while for this one to catch up, then later they now fully catches up. So the way to now achieve that is that while they are here also, we also need to keyframe this, add some keyframe, that's register their position too. Register their attribute. Okay, the particular attribute I'm giving to this is not position, it's rather it's rotation. So I hit R to bring out the rotation, hit this, then take this. So once it comes here, I also register this. Yes, this is the first thing I need to do. However, if I come here, let's say somewhere here, I may need to let this one drag a bit. Like it's as if it's reluctant in coming, right? I may need to allow it to drag a bit. Then also make this one drag a little bit more. No, a little bit more this way. Then I may need to raise it up. No. To do that, obviously I need to, because as I'm trying to do that, there's this breakage happening here, right? But these are just in a rough form. But sometimes once this is happening, the way to compensate for that, you need to bring out your position. Once you bring out the position, let's say once it ends here, right, the position is okay, right? So I need to register that position that is okay. So here is okay, but somewhere here now I don't like it, so I need to now take it up. I need to take it up a bit this way. So here, once it goes now, so at this beginning now, you see some level of drag and overlap happening. Some level of drag and overlap happening. Then later they catch up. So to also like heighten that to drag and overlap, because if you remember the principle of animation we showed you, where what was it again? There was like a flower vase, right? There was a vase, and there was a flower inside. Then when we animated the flower move, it took a long while for this thing to settle. So in this coming to settle with this, that's this arm, this lower arm, and this one. Before they come to settle, they should be able to like take a little bit wide. They should like see that drag. So the way to achieve that is that we now need to move this keyframe in time a bit. Let's say 1-2 frames. So with that now, the difference is very much subtle, but this is like the basic principle. What I'm showing here now is the basic principle to Yes, once that's set to it, I can also come to the hand and also drag it a little bit more. So it also takes a little bit while for it to settle. So you see now, if you watch, the animation is not that very stiff as before. If you are very, you could see it's no longer very stiff. So for a little while, you see that these other ones were like, you know how when our parents will send us, okay, I want go to so place, you reluctantly take a while before you go, like it's as if they are dragging. I don't want to go, I don't want to go. Then later you will now you to actually delay before you get there. So that's what is happening online. But this is like the basics. So what have I done? I've just showed us okay, someone said that their screen went blank. Hello, can you all still see me and hear? Please, if you can still see and hear, please quickly give me feedback, please. Because I just explained the very fundamental. This whole idea, what I just explained, is like very fundamental in character animation. Please, if you can hear and see, please type here and see, please, so that I won't be the only one talking to myself. Oh, okay. Constance said she can't see. Who else can't see mine? You may need to refresh. Okay, Godwin said you can see and hear. Because I want to take it a little bit. So if by any chance you're having difficulty, right, I will make this the recording available. I'll make the recording available. So I want to take it a little bit further now. But what I just did, right, to a large extent, if you understand this, if you really understand what I just explained to you, that's it. Though you can always come here, okay, let's say I take this and F9.